Griffin Hale entered the East House. The grand foyer greeted him with polished wooden floors, high ceilings, and beautiful chandeliers. It must have been break period because some students were heading back to the dorm. Their chatter died down as they spotted Griffin carrying an unconscious Violet. Curious eyes followed him as he easily carried her up the stairs, not even seeming to notice her weight. Only after he was out of sight did the gossip start flying. What was Violet doing in the East House? And why was Griffin carrying her? Meanwhile, Griffin reached the top floor of his own private domain. Unlike the other floors, this one felt exclusive. After all, it was where he lived with his betas, gammas, and deltas. He pushed open the double doors with his shoulder and stepped inside. Griffin's room reflected his personality. Spacious, luxurious, warm, and personal. An Alaskan king mattress, a massive 9x9, dominated the room. Larger than a standard bed, it had a sturdy mahogany frame and rich red and gold bedding. It was a bed fit for a king, or rather, an alpha, especially in beast form, oozing comfort and power. Large windows flanked the bed, offering a sweeping view of the school grounds. A leather sofa and a mahogany desk occupied one corner, while a massive fireplace roared in another. The walls showcased Griffin's passion for cars. Sophisticated model cars were meticulously arranged on custom-built shelves. From classic muscle cars to sleek modern sports cars, the impressive collection spoke volumes about his love for speed, even if his werewolf physique wasn't built for it. A connecting door led to another room, and beyond that, the bathroom. Griffin crossed the threshold, his footsteps muffled by the plush carpet. Gently, he laid Violet on the bed. Her small frame looked almost lost on the vast expanse of the mattress. Her peaceful expression contrasted sharply with the chaos that had led them here. Not quite satisfied, Griffin adjusted the covers, pulling them up to her shoulders. He stepped back to admire his work. Wrapped tightly in the oversized sheet, Violet looked like a mummy. Griffin paused. It wasn't winter, but the nights were getting chilly. He considered the temperature. It wasn't actually nighttime, and she might overheat under the heavy covers. He reached out to peel back the sheet, then hesitated. As a werewolf, he rarely felt cold. But Violet was human. What if she was sweating under there? Griffin groaned. What was he doing? He just wanted to make sure Violet was comfortable. She was his guest, after all. With a sigh, Griffin turned his attention to his room. He was messy, but in an organized way. Papers, books, and car models were scattered around, giving the room a lived-in feel. Suddenly feeling a strange urge, Griffin started cleaning. He straightened the books on his desk, lined up the stray car models, and tossed his shirt from the night before into the laundry basket. He didn't know why he was doing it, but he felt a need to make his room presentable. It was Violet's first time in his room, and he wanted her to have a good impression when she woke up. It was just common courtesy, he told himself, ignoring the unusual energy driving his actions. It was unfortunate that even after Griffin finished tidying up, Alaric still wasn't back. Could it be Eleanor had turned him down, and he was looking for another healer? Eleanor was a tough cookie, after all. Griffin grabbed his phone and called Alaric, but it just kept ringing. It was weird for Alaric not to pick up. They were bros. After the 5th try, Griffin gave up. Alaric wouldn't just leave him alone with Violet. That much was certain. He'd be back. Speaking of Violet, Griffin sat on the edge of the bed and watched her sleep. She was interesting to watch, and he was struck by how beautiful she was. His gaze drifted to her lips, and it was like he was reliving their kiss. Griffin swallowed, feeling a stir of arousal. Thinking about that kiss wasn't so bad after all. Griffin wasn't in love with Violet, but he couldn't deny her pull. She was strong, resilient, and fearless, qualities he admired. If it weren't for Asher's twisted games, Griffin might have even asked her out. But he wanted nothing to do with whatever crazy scheme Asher was cooking up. Besides, even if he did date Violet, it wouldn't last. Autumn might choose him by graduation, and he didn't want a messy situation. He couldn't fall for anyone other than Autumn. There was no other way. He wanted to be Alpha King, and the next Alpha King could only marry Autumn Carson. No one else. Not even this girl with the strangely purple hair. Unable to resist any longer, Griffin leaned down and gently took a strand of Violet's hair in his hand. It wasn't dyed, he realized. That was odd. Humans didn't have purple hair. She was almost like Roman with his unique green hair. Griffin leaned in and sniffed. Werewolves could always smell their own kind. But with Violet, there was nothing. She smelled human. Maybe she really was human, just with unusual hair and a unique scent. Even asleep, Violet was still giving off those alluring pheromones from earlier, and Griffin was hooked. As if that wasn't enough, Violet's eyes suddenly popped open. For a moment, everything stopped. Their eyes locked, the air thick with unspoken tension. Violet's lips curled into a playful smirk, like a hunter who trapped her prey. Slowly she arched her back, pressing her chest against him. Griffin's resolve crumbled. He knew he should resist, but as her lips parted slightly, he couldn't help but lean in. The briefest touch of her lips against his sent a jolt of pleasure through him. And he groaned. He wanted more. "Griffin!" Alaric's sharp voice sliced through the moment, snapping Griffin back to reality. He pulled away instantly, heart pounding. But Violet wasn't giving up. With a low growl, she lunged forward. Griffin reacted quickly, covering his mouth just as her lips landed on his palm. Her frustration was clear, but before she could try again, Alaric tackled her onto the bed. They struggled briefly, but Alaric easily overpowered her. Just then, Eleanor the healer entered the room and moved towards Violet, her hands glowing with green energy. "Don't worry," she murmured softly. "It'll be over soon." Eleanor pressed her glowing hand to Violet's forehead, and Violet instantly stopped struggling. Her eyelids fluttered closed and her body went limp as the green energy flowed through her. But before she drifted off, the last thing Violet heard was Alaric saying, "I'll kill that bastard Asher." Yes, she thought hazily. Me too. I'll kill that conniving jerk when I get my hands on him. Alaric sighed in relief as Violet fell unconscious. He ran a hand through his hair, his shoulders relaxing slightly. That had been a close call. Way too close. He turned to Griffin, fixing him with a serious look. Griffin shifted uneasily, a little embarrassed. "What?" he asked, his voice tight. "You swore you wouldn't touch her," Alaric said, his voice level but with an accusing edge. Griffin rolled his eyes and crossed his arms defensively. "You took too long. Not my fault." Alaric was stunned. So much for trusting him. He was starting to think no alpha could be trusted around Violet.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.